Hello, everyone, and welcome to this conversation presented by White House Custom Color.
Are you trying to mute me? No, it's just real loud, and I can't.
I sold Amazon when it was $25.
Listening to listen, not listening to respond.
Yes. Oh, thank you for that.
Let's do this. You guys introduce yourselves, Mary and Kira of Get Your Shoot Together podcast, along with a bunch of other accolades and everything we could talk about. Current president of PPA, current treasurer of the board of PPA. It's wonderful to have you, but I would like both of you guys to kind of talk about yourselves for a second independently, because you're so much more than all that stuff too. You're both businesswomen and entrepreneurs and very successful and very hardworking and experienced as well, which I think is a big piece, that you have that experience too. So I just took all your words from you, but go ahead.
You did, actually.
Use your own.
Madam President, after you.
Oh, wow. Okay, cool.
Well done.
Cool. Yeah, so I'm Mary Fisk Taylor. I have two studios in Richmond, Virginia, mostly portrait at this point in my career, because it's been 26 years. It's a mostly portrait, but also have a volume studio with my mom and sister, and still do a few weddings. I have a wedding consultation today, as a matter of fact. So I'm the proud mom of two awesome kiddos that I love to talk about more than anything in the world. And just living the dream here and in Richmond, Virginia. And just looking forward to summer and more beach trips. That's kind of the only thing on my mind right now. It's just hanging out at the beach.
Which is great, because whenever she needs a beach trip, I get invited. So
Perfect.
So that always works out. So I am Kira Derryberry of Tallahassee, Florida, a commercial and family portrait photographer. I have a studio here in the Midtown downtown area. It's Midtown downtown because it's just not that big of a city. So it really just merges into a section. And I've had my studio here for 11 years. I am the mom to an amazing daughter, a 12-year-old daughter who will be starting middle school soon. So that's very scary. That is prioritizing my time right now. Yeah. Recently, in addition to, PPA board stuff and all the other stuff that we do and volunteer, recently I've become a cat like COVID made me a cat person. I don't really know.
Is that right?
I don't know how that happened, but
you
like
were already a cat person. Are we blaming it on COVID?
I had a cat, and I'd had the cat since college, and then I was just like, I'll never get another. She'll die eventually one day. She's immortal, but and then she did, and then I was like, oh no, I think I need a cat. So COVID made me a cat person. So now I take a lot of pictures of the cats doing nothing and text them to my husband, and he doesn't acknowledge that. And then I'm like, why didn't you acknowledge the photo I sent you of the cats? And he's like, because you send me so many photos of the cats. I'm like, yeah, but look at them. They're sitting closer to each other, which is a big thing. And
you have more than one cat.
I have two now.
Yeah. See, I would suggest that COVID did for you what it did for a lot of people, is that it brought out who you already were, but may have been unaware that you were regarding anything. Yours just happens to be cats. And I would say that's a win.
Yeah. Well, it did what it is.
Well, in a relative sense, I would say that's a win, because I've seen COVID bring out things in other people.
Well, this is true.
I just want them to just go ahead and put that back. Just stuff that back.
That's true. If that's what came out of me, then you're right, Jed. It is.
That's
it
what
is
I mean.
A win.
Like huge win for you.
Wow, that's a perspective.
That's not a way I looked at it. I didn't look at it that way.
Mary's been shaming me for a year and a half.
I think if Mary thinks about what I said for another second,
I'm with you 100%. She's also a brand new Invisalign wearer, which has created an interesting lisp that I cannot stop making fun of.
I tried to say specificity today on the podcast.
Oh, good luck.
I lost it.
Specificity.
I wouldn't be able to say that, and I don't have Invisalign.
Well, this is true. Me either, but that's not the point. The point is she shows up one day with this Invisalign, and she's the whole nother person. I don't even recognize her voice anymore.
She wasn't consulted. It's leagues better than it was 9 weeks ago or 10 weeks ago.
She shows up with this brand. She's with this brand new, and we're podcasting. And I'm like, I can't work like this. This is ridiculous.
Is it sibilance or syllabants or whatever it is with your S's? Then like you talk to somebody that has that, and when they say an S, you can like hear it inside your brain.
Yeah, forever.
Yeah. I'm sorry.
Oh, okay. Now, so what I want to talk about specifically with you guys today.
Specifically, say that word, Kira.
Specifically.
This is specifically is what you're doing. You're doing a thing, and it's a big deal for lots of reasons. It's a big deal, right? That you can do it is a big deal now. So before I try to butcher it or add words, you guys describe what you're doing, and then I have a line of questioning for both of you.
Okay. Well, as people may or may not know, we have a not rival nor competing podcast, but another podcast to this one called Get Your Shoot Together, and which was born when we went to Italy when we were all in Italy a couple of years ago. We started talking about it, and we've been doing that now for it was 2.5 years or something now. It's been a bit. And we just, every week we put out some topic, business related, shooting related, whatever. And so over time, everyone was like, well, when are you going to do something? And we kept talking about trying to maybe do some sort of retreat or weekend or workshop or whatever. And then COVID hit, and we were just like, I guess we'll just shelf that for a bit. Yeah. And then as things started coming out of it, we thought, let's do it. Things are opening up, let's go ahead and schedule it, because we had people that were like, don't forget about the retreat.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
And then Mary came up.
The demand is there.
And then Mary came up with the most fabulous name for it, because it was exactly what I was like, it's like trying to jumpstart yourself after this pandemic and reinvigorate something. What is it? What should it be? And then Mary was like, with what?
Ctrl-Alt-Delete.
Yep. Restart.
I love it. I know. It was awesome.
So Ctrl-Alt-Delete was born. Obviously, that's if you're a Mac user, maybe we call it something. What do we
Command Shift?
Command Shift or something. But
it's
Ctrl-Alt-Delete. Yeah, it's not as catchy as Ctrl-Alt-Delete. And we after Texas school for Kira's birthday, and we were looking for a kitschy, fun place, and the Flamingo Hotel. Which I'm still very skeptical about. And not because it's bad. They just had a huge renovation, all this stuff, and the room rate is really great for the attendees, and that's important. But when we really want to deep dive about the retreat, just share one little fun thing that I'm not excited about. And that is, we could have picked this one big suite, bigger. And, it had 2 bedrooms, which I'm a big fan of. I'm a fan of my own room. And, but it didn't have a color palette that pleased Mrs. Derryberry. She just was not down with the green and orange and brown.
Well, okay. So full disclosure, this hotel has had a massive renovation, but not everywhere. Right. And so not every room has been renovated. So yes, while there were 2 large suites to choose from, I went with the one, because I'm going to be doing a lot of demoing and shooting, and I'm going to shoot everyone's, portrait while we're there, and I'm, in the suite. And so I chose the one that had been renovated that looks amazing and awesome.
It has bunk beds.
All right, we'll get to the bunk beds.
No, let's just lead
beds?
with bunk beds.
Yes, beds, Jeff.
Yes,
which Jeff. Why is that not a positive? I don't understand. But the other room that Mary was like, let's describe that room. While it is larger and has separate bedrooms, the color palette is grass green and brown.
And orange.
And that orange. It's the flamingo's colors, right? Isn't that what you associate with old school flamingo?
The old flamingo. It's the old school. So if you want a real vintage, hygienically vintage
hygiene,
then I say let's go with that room. The beds are brown, the chairs are green. It doesn't look great, but it does have space. The room that we chose, however, all renovated, vibrant colors, new furniture. It feels clean, and it's got bunk beds. It has 1 bedroom, but 2 bathrooms.
And one of the bedrooms has bunk beds.
No, it only
Yes,
has one
one of the-
bedroom and it has bunk beds.
It has 4 beds in the 1 bedroom and 2 queen beds. So Madam President can have her own queen size bed.
Oh.
She doesn't have to sleep in a bunk bed.
Oh.
And then
A bunk bed.
there are bunks above it. So there are physically 4 beds.
What kind of psycho clown posse stays in this type of room?
like
besides us?
fun, like friends, like fun gal pals who want to hit Vegas and like, what's wrong with you?
It's a
Why don't
girls'
you wanna-
weekend suite.
She doesn't want a slumber party with me at all, and I'm offended.
It's true. I'm not a slumber party. I'm 52. I'm old beyond
I'm
those
done with
days.
slumber parties.
I know.
All right,
but
so
beyond
tell-
that, exciting news. Yeah.
All right, but so you weren't surprised that there is a big demand for this. All things considered, like people are itching for
They wanna
this,
do something.
right?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I'm always surprised that people want to pay money and take time to come and hang. I will be very honest.
You're
it always
surprised that people
surprises
want to
me.
pay money and go to Vegas and hang out
And
with
hang
you
out with
guys and
us.
learn how to restart their business and possibly their life. Because this is bigger than business, is it not?
Yes.
I think so. It should be 100% like it should be.
Here, the thing is that every week we are putting out this content in little small bits, of how to apply this and how to make it work and how to do it. But if we were able to actually, with a small group, this is what we wanted, and this is what's happening, a small group, really customize and cater it to that group of people and really focus on all these nuggets towards making them successful. To me, it's just a win. You know what I mean? We're already doing it, and we want to be able to help people in a more focused way. And this is the time to do it. People and like you said, people are ready to go do something.
Yeah.
Ready to go do
Right.
something. Why not kickstart their business again?
So what are the
when-
pillars that kind of support the foundation of what you guys are going to be covering?
Yeah.
and going
So
over?
I think it'll be a great combination. I mean, I'm mostly portrait based, and Kira, and I do some commercial, whereas Kira's the complete opposite. She's very much commercial, headshots, and then also has a really healthy portrait business. So we have that we bring to the table. We talk a lot about it. Now, I anticipate and envision that we'll be super duper deep diving into how to have a profitable and sustainable business, which is all I really care about when the day's done. So identifying the client you want to serve, identifying and really streamlining the products you want to sell, and deep diving in how to make a clear and concise brand in your marketplace. So for me, it'll be story brand, profit first, very intentional marketing and business planning. Very, very
Mhm.
intentional. So that would be what I would bring to the table, in addition to reviewing in everybody's price list and their portfolio, even studio setup and how we can help them streamline that type of thing. So that would be something that I would focus on. And once we get the group all done, we're going to start having calls leading up. So we kind of already have talked to people and know where they're at before we get there. So we can really jump
now
in.
that's an interesting. I think that's like a neat twist. I
Yeah,
haven't
'cause
heard of much of that ever.
We only
happening.
have 2 days. So if Kira and I can jump on a Zoom with each person individually, so we can take our notes and have a plan ready. Also, I
Wow.
will be asking them to send me all their stuff ahead of time so I can review it before I get there. So I have a plan in place, because I want them to walk away ready to hit the ground running for the fourth quarter.
We want it to be action, and not a lot of, while we're there, you telling us your specific need. We want to already know what your
You already
specific
know
need
that.
is.
You want to know that already.
100%.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. So it's like group coaching, on vacation is what it is. So I'm going to bring to the table that efficient studio side of things. So, how to shoot on location efficiently, fast, quick turnaround times, how to get all of that stuff tightened up so that on the business side, your sound, but also on the actual physical shooting side, your sound, and you feel confident doing, tackling big projects, whether that's commercial or a family portrait session, trying to make you spend less time setting up for those things, less time making purchases for things you don't need, figuring out the essentials of what it is that you need to carry out the business plan that Mary's really going to help you focus on. So, I mean, I feel like it's a lot to pack into 2 days, but that's, like she said, now we have the technology where we can do all the pre-work, before we get there. And we're excited about it.
Yeah.
Do you look at this, or maybe you haven't even gotten to this point, but are you looking at this as a movie or a series? Right. So like, are you building this up to be a film? Or are you building this up to be a trilogy? Are you building this up to be a series? What's in your mind, or what would you like to see happen with it? Or you don't know, maybe. See how it goes.
I mean, we haven't talked about it. In my mind, if this goes well, I could see us doing more of these because we love this. Like, that's one thing being PPA president, right? The one thing I will say I love the most is going out and meeting other photographers and just those side chats, just like somebody asking me, you wrote this article or you said this, and deep diving, and then hearing back from them, I tried that and I just had my first 4-figure sale, or I just had this, like that is what like tears just break. Like that fills me with so much joy because Jed, and you know this, and I know Kira, you do as well. But I mean, all this stuff was given to us so early on, and we were part of this. I was talking to our old friend Dave Junian this weekend, who I haven't seen in so long, and he's such a goofball, and I adore the guy. But I mean, and he was so high. I mean, it was just insane. But it was so fun just to sit back and kind of talk about those days when all of this, and I'm still feeding off of all that. And of course we're changing it and modernizing it, but that makes me so happy. So if I could make this a series, that would make me so happy.
That resonates. Dave was the very first person that I knew that knew anything about digital workflow in photography.
Yeah.
Before labs, certainly it was way before like YouTube or even the internet had anything reliable. So Dave was my Google.
He's an OG.
Like, oh man. And he knew these things that he was teaching me things that other people didn't even know about to teach.
Right.
We would have been an absolute mess without Dave. And so I like the fact that yes, we're in a situation we were able to learn all this stuff so long ago. And then there's nothing better than talking to somebody about something that they've been struggling with. And then you see it.
Yes.
You see it in their eyes. And it's almost like the real light bulb goes on and they walk away like with hope.
Yeah, no, you're right.
And then when you hear about that later on, you hear about, I had a $4,000 sale and I had no idea that was even possible. And then it occurred. So it's a wonderful thing.
Then if you're still talking, there you go.
There he goes.
Are you back?
He's back.
Oh, did I lock up?
Yeah, you did.
You said, and they walk away with, and then you were in a fun phase.
And we're like, but they walk away and you see it. And that's what I envision. Yes. I mean, obviously it would have to, I don't know where Kira is. I mean, let me be very frank. This is not something, how do you say this? This is something we are doing because we love it. This is not something that is going to be it's not going to be some huge revenue stream for us that it's going to, you know what I'm saying? Like I make my money in my studio. So us doing this because we're keeping it so small and when there's so much we're giving, it's a break even almost for us at this point. So people are like, why are you doing this? Because we love it. Like we love it. It's an extension of our podcast. And because also we've been, like you said, just kind of locked down for over a year and it's going to feel good to get out and be with people. And so I'm very excited about that piece. I don't know, Kira, how you feel.
I agree. I mean, one, if we made it big, then we'd be going for it to be like extremely like this big moneymaker thing. And we're not, like you said, because we know what we want to focus on and who we want. And I also think that we want to work with people who are there to do the work.
Yes.
And I think that sometimes when you speak to a large group of people, there's like, you speak to a room of 100 people, or, you hope that 10 walk away and you gave them some big thing that really helped them. You know what I mean? And here we feel like if people are making an investment to come with us to this workshop and that they're ready, you know what I mean? They're ready to come and find out like what it is to make themselves more profitable and successful. And they're ready to do the work, because if you go and you take a workshop and you don't go and apply the things that you learned at the workshop, then what good was it? You know what I mean? If you're not ready to make the investment in the time and the energy as well as financially. So I think that we're here for the right reasons. You know what I mean? Like we enjoy giving back. We've been doing this now for 2 years, just every week. And now we want to really try and help people the way that we've been helped, you know.
Absolutely.
What are the pain points that you anticipate you're going to encounter?
Mindset. I have a feeling that, that's why I want to do a lot of this pre-work, because I have a feeling we will spend a good portion of at least the first day talking about growth mindset. And
right.
I mean, that's the biggest problem I feel like I encounter when I talk to other photographers, and it's I can't do this. I can't charge that. I'm not good enough. I don't, at one day, and it's that mindset. And if I could give anything to photographers out there, whether they're in business now or starting, is that mindset of, yes, you can. And today's the day. I mean, we just had this conversation, Kira and I did, but I mean, this isn't a situation where we buy a product and we are reselling it. We're the visionaries, the creators, the artists, the manufacturers. We're everything. We create it from here until it comes through our camera, until it's hopefully printed and delivered. But we have to put value on that. And I don't care if you've been in business for 5 minutes or 5 years or 15 years. There's just too many of us out there who don't believe in ourselves and don't have the mindset that we deserve to earn a profitable, sustainable living, and that what we do is essential, because we've been told for a year we were non-essential. And that is what I feel like we will spend. We have to get over that speed bump.
Do you think that needs to be addressed first before you can even get to the other stuff? Because if you just start going into meat and potatoes and nuts and bolts, and you haven't addressed that, to some degree, it falls on deaf ears, because people don't feel like they're worthy to begin with. Is that right?
I do. People are very comfortable talking about the nuts and bolts. So I feel like our pre-con, but like, I think in a group setting, and the group that seems to be curating itself here I'm really excited about. I think when you get in a group, and we just taught text to school, Jamie and I did a couple weeks ago. That's how we start. And when they come together and all start building each other up as a group, you see the boat rise, right? So I feel like that has to be done in a group setting, because I can preach at you all day long about mindset, but when you get with other people and they're like, man, I love your work, and that's, you know what I mean? Like, then it becomes, I think that will happen in a group setting more successfully than even one-on-one. I don't know, Kira, what you think, but
absolutely. Well, the hope is always that that the people who come to this workshop will experience that type of bonding where they can lift each other up and continue to help each other grow, afterwards. The thing that I'll also add to, because mindset is 100% one of those pain points. The thing that I'll also add is getting out of your own way and finding, I know that sounds cliche, but not looking for a one-size-fits-all business model. You know what I mean? Because the stuff, the nuts and bolts, and the changing your mindset to be sustainable and profitable, all those things we're not going to sit here and tell you, this is how to run your business just like Mary. This is Mary's business model, or this is how to run your business just like Kira. If you do just what Kira is doing, then you'll have a successful business, because that's not what makes us successful. Our business models, that it's the mindset, and it's the way we have our businesses set up so that they can be profitable. And so I think that for a long time, I mean, I would go to a workshop and I would be told, copy this, do it exactly this way.
And this.
And that's what we talked about this a lot. We want to get completely away from that. We want to give you the tools to do whatever it is you want to do. We want to make you successful at doing that thing. We don't want you to come in and be like, I want to know exactly how Kira packages up her commercial photography studio and then does it. And then I want to do it. And if you get nuggets that you want to take away, great, that match something I'm doing, but that's not what this is about. This is about giving you the tools to do what you want to do and make money doing it.
I would venture to say, and I love that, and you're so right, because there's no such thing as just add water and poof, then just like the sea monkeys, and no, there's no just add water. You have to. It's very individualized. But so more than us teaching what we do, I think that our vision is more along the lines of this is a good business practice, and this is why. So whereas I don't need to go in and say, this is how I would market to a high school senior or whatever it is, I would say, the importance of marketing to a high school senior is creating that relationship, consistency in your social media, like basic things that are applicable across the board, whether you photograph high school seniors or headshots or families or weddings. There are, in my opinion, some core principles that if you're very intentional about whatever it is you do, wherever you're located, whatever your price point is, whatever client you're serving, whatever it is, that they work. I believe so much in the relationship. Like, I will tell you that a major shift, obviously, for us was story brand, being clear and concise and agitating pain points. Beyond that, I would say that really listening and building that relationship about why now, that's a huge part of why we're so successful. When I talk to a potential client and I'm like, tell me a little bit more about John and why now? And they'll go, oh, well, and then all of a sudden it comes out, well, you know what? He's going to get a big boy haircut for the summer. Dad is insisting. And as a mom, and I'm like, oh, I remember when my little boy got his big boy haircut and lost, you know what I'm saying? Like, that becomes, poof, that is gold. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So that's the type of principles more so than, okay, this is how you set up, a lookbook or this or a model program. No, these are the principles that I think will apply to anything. And I think that's where we want to be with this group. You know what I mean? Like, gone are the days that buy this kit, buy this. And Jed, you and I know Dave and I talked about all of this just this past weekend, but I mean, that's gone. It's really got to be a lot. It's got to be a lot layers in. And if people adapt on that space, the rest of it comes so much easier, in my opinion.
Is it scarier for some people though? Because to me, I think it's a lot richer.
Mm-hmm.
I think it's a lot, the potential for reward, not just financially, but like relationally, is there so much more. But I also feel like the flip side of that is that there are more unknowns in the equation, right?
It's harder.
Like, there's a vulnerability that exists now, I think, that is not, I won't say necessary for success, but I think very helpful for success because of that relational piece, right?
Wow, I can't agree more. I say, like, one of my favorite things is your ego is not your amigo. I mean, it is so hard. You know how I say that all the time, Jed. So, but it's so true. Like, bringing out my Eckhart Tolle, right? Like, you have to be able to put that aside, in my opinion, to form these relationships and form this so that, and in my opinion, I'll shut up in a minute, but like, if we made a really hard decision several years ago to shift into this type of mindset, and it's not easy because you get told no. And sometimes, I mean, there's a lot of vulnerability.
Yes.
There is so much vulnerability.
There's more, I think there's more opportunity for rejection
100%.
and at deeper levels than existed previously, or if you have that other strategy, so to speak. Here, I'm interested to hear your perspective on this from a commercial standpoint. Do you feel as though what we're talking about also applies more with what you do most of? I mean, we're talking about headshots, but there's still, right?
Yeah, but what's funny about the headshot business and market is that now that everybody needs one because of the Zoom boom and because it's like, LinkedIn and it's like literally, I can't think of a profession that doesn't really need one. It's if you have a social media presence, and so now you've got people coming to you because they have to, not because they were hoping to treat themselves or because they, whatever, and they're not excited to be here and they're not, it's almost like I'm the dentist in a lot of ways, and for Mary especially, you know what I mean? It's like, you know that you need to go, that you need to get this done, but you don't want to be here and you're not excited about the outcome, right? And so I find myself serving the role, and I did too when I was doing more boudoir photography, this in a different capacity, I think this was there. You find yourself being relatable to the client and receiving and recognizing their insecurities and their needs, and then also having to build them up at the same time. And emotionally, that could be very hard if your personality isn't conducive to that. I feel like that's a skill that I kind of had to learn. But if you move more into the less fear of rejection. Because, okay, so like, for example, if somebody came in here and got a headshot and we showed the images and they were like, I hate all of them. Well, wow, that would be a real blow to my ego. And that could really hurt my feelings, and that could really make me upset and whatever. But if you can move out of being offended, it was interesting when I sort of started to separate myself from the work so that my feelings didn't get hurt of somebody, because I realized it was about them and not
you.
about
It's not about
not
you.
me.
Right. Ooh, good.
If you don't make everything about you, they're having a tough time.
Imagine
They've gained
that.
weight. They've done something, you know what I mean? Right. Imagine that it's not about Kira Derryberry.
Imagine that it's not about you, your ego taking it out. But Kira, also talk about how she has amazing touch points in place in her studio because of the way she tethers and does things that she's hearing before. So she not only gets it, but she's safeguarding against it. You don't have to wait till the end. You know.
No, we don't wait till I mean, these are kind of the things that I've implemented to be that problem solver before the problem happens. So that saves me that rejection, that big slap in the face rejection. You do all this work, and they're like, I hate all of them. And you're like, well, you hate yourself. I don't know. You know what I mean? But I tether everything that I'm shooting now in the studio so that we can address issues beforehand. You know what I mean? Like image 1 comes up and they go, oh gosh, my hair is flat today. And I'll go, hey, let's take a little break. Let's go in there and let's get you fixed up. You know what I mean? Like we fix it. We fix it right away. Or somebody goes, oh God, I look so tired. Oh God, don't worry about looking tired. I'm going to take care of that. Just like focus on your face, focus on your smile.
So you have these practical solutions that are addressing these issues, and I like that piece because those exist, and yet you have these ways to kind of combat that and validate
the concern, but combat. You can't say, your hair doesn't look flat.
Fine. You're fine. And they're like, they clearly don't feel fine. So she's acknowledging it and she's fixing it. Right. And then she may adjust her lighting or do something or like have them fix. And then go, now what about this? And they'll go, oh, much better. And then they're more comfortable.
Right.
I had someone
tell
me
something you would have never known. You wouldn't
exactly.
You're not thinking that.
Yeah.
I had somebody tell me concealer is too light. That makeup artist did my concealer all wrong because they saw one image. And all I did was adjust my lighting so that it compensated for, I didn't even see what she was talking about. Honestly, it was a concern that it didn't exist, but I compensated by adjusting my lighting so that area of her face wasn't as bright. And then she never complained about it again for the rest of the shoot. So, I mean, it's like, you have to be able to make these quick, efficient adjustments with the things that you're doing, either technically or just emotionally for the client. And I think that sort of combats that rejection that is there. It is there.
I'm interested in too, and I can finish with this, but I'm curious about this, and I think you'll both have a few things to say about this. Given everything that we're talking about and how things are not the same as they were before, not just within the industry, but even from a teaching perspective, what sort of influences do you guys look to and pull from outside of our industry? Mary, I know you're a story brand person. I know you're a profit first person, but what things, including those, but other stuff too, because I feel like you both do this well and have done this for a long time, and that it didn't used to be much of a thing, maybe a little bit, but if somebody pulled something and it was like, people are looking at each other like, what's going on right now? Why are they talking about? But it's not like that anymore. I think it's more important than ever because of what we're talking about and those vulnerabilities to pull resources and influences in from outside of the industry and incorporate that into the sharing and the teaching that's happening. So what other things are you guys pulling in and looking to for yourselves, even in your own businesses?
Do you want to go first, Kira?
I can go. I often look towards what kind of customer service am I receiving for the things in my life that make my life easier. When I am stressed out about a problem I'm having personally, my house is a mess or my yard is a wreck, or I need to rent some equipment to do a project, like what kind of service am I receiving and how do I feel after I have received that service? Did it solve that problem, or did it make it worse?
So you're really paying attention to the experiences that you're having with other companies or associations or whatever outside of obviously your business? Like, how are you being treated?
Yeah, because
And
that's
what
because
works
if
and
it's a
what
good
doesn't work?
exactly, because if it's a good experience,
Right.
if it's a good experience, then I want to be able to replicate that feeling for
Mhm.
somebody else, for one of my clients.
Mhm. Yeah, that makes a lot of sense.
Yeah, and and we talk about this a lot because something that, she last year at some point, just the way she was treated when she took her car in for service made us sit back and look at the way we don't communicate as much as we should with our clients. So that's a big one. I would totally agree with that. Looking at big brands, I loved big brands that have grown organically. Peloton's a great example. And I love the brand and I've followed it for a long time, even though I, contrary to popular belief, do not ride a Peloton. But besides that, I followed it because the gentleman who invented it lives in Charlottesville. So he's from here. And he's just got a really cool grassroots, core. So, but the way that they handle the messaging when you order one, the packaging, the gifting, I follow that. And how can I take that and make my clients feel excited about what they're getting ready, what they've invested thousands of dollars in and they're getting ready to receive. So that's one piece. I also, because of my children, am incredibly conscientious about how I can leave a smaller carbon footprint. So I'm always trying to figure out, because I want to produce goods, right? But how can I create less noise? How can I be more, sustainable, and that's important. And then, quite frankly, for me, and I mentioned, Eckhart, at the beginning, a little bit ago, but how can I dig deeper and not make it about me? How can I dig deeper and, put aside the ego or the things that too often come to the surface and really create a barrier between me and a client, or me and a client's experience. And, all the other stuff is important, and following, successful brands and all that stuff. But, I think when the day is done at this point in my career, Jed, and where I am, it really starts with me. And if I get up in the morning and if I take the time to, follow that 2%, or to just make a decision, an intentional decision to put those things aside, I think it makes a much bigger difference in how I work with people, how I feel, and how I create. I mean, and it's easier for me.
Well
I mean,
said.
I'm at a different place. Like, right, my kids are not. I'm not like Kira, who's trying to get the kids on the bus and do, all that stuff. So it's a little bit easier. But one other piece I would think is important for all small business owners is intentional planning and goal setting and following those type of people who do it so well. Journaling, those are things we can do at any point, and I do think it helps us.
You guys have Get Your Shoot Together podcasts. You have the Control Alt Delete Retreat.
Yes.
Is that it's classified as a retreat?
It is.
Because it's gonna be fun.
So give me the details about that, because you're still taking people, right? I mean, you don't want it to be huge, but so what are the exact details, dates, times, all the stuff, ways that people can sign up for that?
Sign up for it at getyourshoottogether.com, and the dates are August 15th and 16th in Las Vegas, Nevada, at the glorious, historical,
world-renowned
Flamingo Hotel.
I love it.
And we have a few spots left, and we're eager to get those spots filled because we want to be able to get started. We're here, it's May, and so we really want to get started being able to meet with the group beforehand. But we're very excited
even beforehand.
about it.
I like that piece. That's a great piece.
Yeah, by June
ladies,
1st, we'd like to start meeting with the people. That's kind of one of our things.
Oh,
The peeps.
yeah, right.
The
Well, and
peeps.
that's coming up because right now it's the 18th of May. This will probably air right around then.
Okay, good. So
people
hopefully
can
there'll still
start
be a few spots. We'll see.
Right. Ladies, thank you for joining me as always.
Thanks, Jed.
It was a pleasure.
Thanks
and
for having
sorry
us.
for locking up a couple times. So I'll have to fix that.
You locked up and like fun faces, so it worked out for you.
No, there was one though, and I'm talking and I just see this.
I like the one where you're like this.
That was me in real time, though.
I know. It's like, wow, that's just the Jed face that I normally get.
All right. Have a wonderful day. Until next time, girls.
Thanks, Jetty.
Thanks, Jed.
Hey guys, thanks for watching this conversation presented by White House Custom Color on YouTube. Be sure to check out our other content and click that subscribe button right there. Right. Right there. It's there somewhere.